Why did I set it up? Better put my Arti glasses on. Why did we set this up? Basically because, well, we like to try and be one step ahead. So see when they started to put down the new $1 million granite pavements here, I went, well, there's something fucking happening here. It means that they're going to keep the Barras going rather than the negative administration before that. So we know it's going a bit arty, right? So we says, fuck it, we'll be a bit more arty before them. So we decided to change our wee junk furniture shop into an art gallery, workshop, just to really enjoy it a wee bit, and then sort of see if we can keep it going by selling a bit of junk furniture to fund it a bit, and just have a fucking laugh while we're doing it. But I'm probably going to have to mention we want to con the art world. So basically we try and make all our canvases big, and we try and publicise them as much as possible and get the artists to talk about them. So we're looking forward to the future. So some bastard is going to fucking live off the millions that we make. You know, we'll be gone. So do us a favour and pop down and buy them. For our bog standard, we ask £1,000, but whatever you've got in your pocket, we'll consider it.
And what's the place called?
Oh, this is the Arti San Toi. Wordplay on artisan, but more noted as the San Toi bit of the name, which is the gang, one of the colourful gangs, romantic gangs, Glasgow, from the 1920s. But the San Toi sort of fizzled out in 75, so we're just rejuvenating them. We're the Arti San Toi. San Toi, you bass.
Did you have experience doing it before you started here, or was it like, were you pushed into it? Or?
No. So about probably April last year. Sorry. Yeah, about April last year, I'd been working from home for a couple of months after COVID. However, the backdrop to that was I had basically taken a redundancy from my old company. I had been with them for 24 years. So I'd gone through a 6-month process of trying to make a decision to stay. I'd been through the kind of consultation process a number of times, and this time around I thought, I think this is my time, and I thought I'm not going any younger, so if I don't go now I'll end up being with the same company for the rest of my working career. So, but as I say, it's been stressful but enjoyable at the same time. So I've been kind of trying to sort of keep on top of what I've got on my plate just now, but I'm always trying to think ahead. You know, as I say, I've already think about Halloween, knowing the mess I got into last year. So I was out in my shed at midnight some nights, mixing up more just to try and keep up with the list of orders that I had. And it's a long process for mixing the cement through to casting, through to allowing it to set properly and dry before you can paint it. So I did a few of them that I should have left it longer, so there was a few mistakes that I had to make. The bespoke ones, in fact, I'll show you these ones. I don't know if you've seen these. That's just a sample of so that one's bespoke, that's the unicorn and baby. I think I paid about £300 for that mould. Got that one bespoke as well, so got the sculptor in India to basically work for my picture. So I sent them a few pictures. This one here is the most popular one I've got. So I'm doing it in different styles: saltire, natural. These wee green menus are proving quite popular. Didn't realise that until I came in here actually, but having them in the window, people walk by in the street. I don't know if it's the size of them that's making it quite easy for people to carry, but so I'm going to try and do more of them. That's my wee my wall art thing. So that's a plaster of Paris skull face. I made the silicone mould for that, and I've just been starting to kind of mass produce these plaster of Paris things. So I thought I'd start doing a wee bit of this one's a kind of Jackson Pollock-esque trial, but I quite like it. And I've got another one in there in colour. It looks like a child has painted the other one, but that one I was quite happy with. So if I could start selling things like that, I would be a happy man. I realised it could be a hell of a lot of money to spend and lose, but I also realised if I didn't try that, I would have been kicking myself, and I could still been sitting doing the day job with nothing else, and I might have been a bit more frustrated now. So it's given me a chance to channel a lot of energy, and as I say, I was in that mentally kind of crazy place, and it's just given me a jolt of passion, and it's made me realise actually there's more to life than just a day job, and I could maybe be self-sufficient if, you know, I've always been at the mercy of staying in my company because I need the money to pay the bills, and I can't leave in fear of missing a monthly set of bills. So having the redundancy behind me was the first time I've had this choice. You know, in a lot of cases you go with the flow, or I don't know. I'm when it comes to things like that, I play safe. You know, stick with what I've got as opposed to taking a gamble. And this was the kind of safest gamble I suppose I've taken, knowing that, you know, I've got a wage coming in, so I'd still be able to pay the bills. And it would have been a lot of money to lose, but at the same time, the passion that I had to do something was enough for me to say, do you know what, if I lose it, I can look back and say I gave it a go.
That's one of the boys that used to come in here that died. He wasn't painting quick enough, so we murdered them. No, I'm looking. No, he took, well, he was ill for years. Johnny. And that's his ashes up there.
Oh, aye.
We were going to have his funeral in here, but we managed to get enough money to get him to the, what do you call it, the Undertaker's parlour. You know, and they had a wee mini service in there. But we were going to have it in here. Oh, I'll elaborate now, right. So basically he wasn't well. He passed away in the hospital. And with not many living relatives, right. So his other friends started collecting money and we joined in the money collecting process. But basically, if we hadn't got the 500 quid together, they just take you from the morgue to the fucking crematorium and that's it, right? So the plan was to take him from the morgue and put him in here, in that wee office there, and have the ceremony in here. But we managed to get the 500 quid, which meant we could use the funeral parlour. And it was a brilliant funeral. So quite a lot of friends turned up, and 3 or 4 of us went up and spoke about his life. But the guy that was in charge of the funeral parlour was at the wee door going, "Fucking hurry up! You know, you're taking too long." And chased us out the funeral parlour. See the night, still on, the night he was supposed to be coming from the morgue down to here, but we realised with the money and we didn't have to go and get him from the morgue, right? So we went and did a furniture delivery, and on the motorway we were stopped by the fucking traffic cops with the white hats on. And he says, "Why is there only a piece of string tying the back of your van up, blah blah blah, somebody tried to break into it." And the cop says, "Have you got anything in the back of the van?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "What have you got in the back of the van?" I says, "A dead body." And he went, "No." I went, "No, I'm only kidding." We could go on to the story about how we currently purchase the canvas for the, you know. So Charlie will bring in a little bit of furniture, some old piece of furniture, and we usually try and sell it for about 45 quid, right? And that funds the canvas, you know, takes the sting out of paying for it. Because this, as I keep repeating, is a self-funding gallery, you know. So Lee's also done the same. He sold a couple of bits of furniture. But in Jasmine's case, it's slightly different. We were desperate to get Jasmine in, so she didn't have to sell any bits of furniture. So we had to get that big gigantic canvas there was laying blank for about maybe 3 months. We used blank canvases to tempt the artist. We come in and say, "What do you think of that big canvas? Would you like to paint on it?" You know. So we actually like a wee stockpile of blank canvases lying about the place, which we've run out of at the moment. But we like to have a few ready. But they're also fucking time consuming to make. You know, aren't they? Right, hold that, Charlie boy.
Didn't you sell something quite famous recently?
Right, yeah, there was a friend of mine called Ken McCluskey. He's a singer and he was in a band called the Bluebells. And he had loaned this, he had I can't forget the name of it, a harmonium. And the harmonium was like a pedal type operated organ, like a short, small organ thing. And Ivor Cutler, this underground cult type poet cum singer, personality chap who used to be on John Peel and stuff like that. He was playing in Glasgow in the Glasgow Green 1996, and he had asked to borrow Ken's harmonium. So me and Ken had went to go and went and watched the gig. It was good fun and that, in more ways than one. And then the years later, Ken has asked me, did I know anybody that wanted to buy it? And because I'd been in here for a while with Gary, and I knew Gary was quite good at probably buying and selling things, curios and furniture and musical instruments, I thought I'd said to him that this was up for grabs. So Gary's got the van, he went up and got the harmonium, took it down, but I found out a few people were coming and looking at it, and they found out it wasn't as workable as he thought it might be, because it was like I think there was a couple of pipes missing or something, but he got a guy who actually wanted it, paid £50, but this guy could actually repair it, so hopefully it's going to be bigger and better things, and it's been touched by the hands of the maestro Ivor Cutler. Well, I knew Gary from school years, from in the early mid-70s, probably 76, 77 onwards. I was at St Mungo's Academy in the Gallagate, East End of Glasgow, and Gary was a couple of years below me. And Gary was the same as he is now. He's a nice guy, you know what I mean? He's at school, you know what school's like, a lot of idiots, you've got to do a lot of just cretins and thugs and stuff, and Gary stood out for that because he was just like a normal person, you know, friendly and that, and good fun. So I remember getting a pair of Teddy Boy shoes off and a pair of brothel creepers, because he was into kind of Ted stuff and rock and roll, and I was into punk stuff, and I couldn't afford to buy a brand new pair of shoes, so he sold me a pair of blue suede creepers for a fiver it might have been, I can't remember, maybe it was free. So that's how we got to know each other. Over the years I'd bump into him because he was always on about the Barras, and I was born on the corner but I moved to Parkhead, but I'd always had a kind of a spiritual home down here, so I always came through and visited, and just used to buy things down here, books and stuff like that. So I always kept in touch, and then recently over the last few years I've noticed he was doing the art projects in here, and I always kept one eye on that, but then I think a lot of his people that he used to have in have kind of drifted away, and I took the plunge and came in, and he made me a canvas. I had something like an old anatomical dummy which I bought on a whim off eBay, and it was opened the box and it was like ghastly looking thing. I thought, God, I don't want this in my house. So Gary sold it for 150 quid, and the money that he sold for it, it went towards my first two canvases. So I'd not painted for about 26 years. I'd applied for it to go to art school in 1986, but I never done enough work for it. So Gary sold this object, and then he's made the canvases up, and then about a month ago I started painting. I've done about 5 or 6 paintings, which I'm quite happy with, and I put it on my social media, on the Facebook and Instagram. I've got a lot of friends, local friends and family who are quite impressed with it, which surprised me, which it's glad that people are showing interest in it, so it's encouraging me, and at the same time Gary's been good with the fact that he can make up the canvases, and it gives you an environment where you can come in and sit and paint and, you know, and get into it. It's good. Yeah, it's timely because I worked for 21 years for a company, I won't even mention the name because I hate them, and last year that I got sacked from them, which is too long a story, but so I got a bit resentful, you know, and it does get you down. It can be prone sometimes, you get a bit of depression and a wee bit of anxiety sometimes that everybody must do at some point in their life. So I've noticed this has given me a bit of structure. It's given me a bit of, you know, I can get up and come in here at night and I can channel my stuff into the painting, which is good. And it takes your mind off all the rubbish that you normally, everyday banality and worries and just trivia that troubles you. So we're getting into the art in here. It's been good. It's good for my mental health, you know. And Gary's easy going and Lee's easy going. So it's a good environment. And then Yasmin's come in as well, and she's young and she's a good laugh. So she adds a bit of kind of youth to the place as well. So we all get on well. And it's good fun, you know. If it wasn't good fun, I wouldn't be here. It gives me, it's like coming to work with a good kind of job, you know, that kind of thing.
I pestered the life out of her.
Correct. No, I'm originally from the East End anyway. And then I went to, so I'm an actor by trade, and I'm a youth worker, community worker. So I work in all different communities all over Glasgow. And last year, maybe about a year and a half ago now, I decided to go back to college part-time just to try some art. And Gary had seen all my stuff online, and I knew some of his family members, and then he asked me to come in and paint a wee canvas. So that was about a year and a half ago, and then a couple of weeks ago I came in, and that's been me.
Why did it take so long?
Well, COVID, and then my wee brother passed away, so I just lost every creative thing. I did not want to paint, and then but this year I could feel it kind of coming back in. So, but at each point, Gary used to message and just be like, "Come on when you're ready, you know it's there," and just if you need anything at all. And he kept doing that for about a year and a half. I mean, I think the Barras has had a tough time over the past 20, 30 years as well. Like, and when you came down to the Barras a good few years ago, it was it wasn't the Barras. It was totally, you know, there wasn't a lot going on and stuff like that. So I think the fact that there's a strong mix of like new organisations coming in, community orientated, and the members of the Barras that have always been here, and them working together rather than it being completely took over. I think that's key to the Barras staying the feel of the Barras, rather than people coming in and, you know, just completely taking over. Like the Barras would not be the Barras without people like Gary and Market Stall, so that has to stay. But I think if you look across at Bad and you see the amount of footfall that it's bringing for the market traders and for the cafes and the businesses that are based in the Barras, then I don't think that could ever be a bad thing, as long as the priority is given to the people that have been here for years when it comes to space and, you know, the buildings that are here, that are theirs.
And what's Glasgow like for that, in terms of making sure that it serves the community that is that's been there?
I mean, it completely depends on which community you look at in Glasgow, but you see some of the poorest communities have been absolutely overtook with new housing developments with nothing put back into the community. Not a club, not a shop, nothing for the community, not a community centre. So I don't think Glasgow is particularly good at that. I think a lot of the charities that are kind of on the go in the communities will try their hardest to make that happen, but I don't think sometimes it's fed down from up above.
How do you see the Barras in 3 years' time?
I don't think it'll be too dissimilar to what it is now. I think it'll be full of life. There's I feel about there's like a potential. It's as if something's ready to go at the Barras, like something excitement. You came down, it's just a cracking atmosphere. I was down at the weekend as well, and it's just a lovely atmosphere. It's such a mix of people, mix of styles, like nobody looking at any, like nothing like odd. You know, like nobody looking at somebody walking down the street in their fashion, like not just all, and you don't really get that. People shouting about Viagra, selling Viagra in the street, you know, people. It's just such a mix of people that I don't think you get anywhere else in the city, and just such a lovely community feel. So this is her here. She's called the Coupon.
Coupon?
The Coupon.
What's the coupon?
So the coupon is like a Scottish word for your face. Like, what's the matter with your coupon would be, what's the matter with your face. So this is the coupon.
And what's the matter with the face?
That is for you to decide. I mean, I know what I see, but the point of the coupon is she's something a wee bit different to everybody, which is obviously like a lot of artwork, but it's kind of one side that I feel is a bit more messy, And a mare's inside. So
Was it a bit daunting to do it, to just be given a canvas?
yes. So I was coming in, and I was meant to get a canvas that was about 5 foot by 5 foot, and that was going to be the biggest that I'd done, like by double. And then I came in, and Gary said, "We don't have any canvases. You're taking the 8 foot." And I was like, "No, that's fine. I'll just wait." And then I set to work on the 8 foot one, which was a brilliant challenge because, So yeah, I came in 1 or 2 times a week for a few weeks and finished her last week. So she's done.
And what would you like to happen to her?
I mean, I'd quite like her in just a big space, either a pub, a club. I don't know. I just somewhere that she'll be, bring a bit of brightness to her room.
So this is yours?
Yeah. But I must say, it's not one of my typical paintings. This is a practice piece, a sentimental piece. It's basically Paddy's, the Toffs call it Paddy's Market. We call it the Brigget, also known as Shipbank Lane down at Glasgow there, right? So it's been an institution for the real poor of Glasgow for approximate 100 years, right? But we're going to have to get political here. Glasgow City Council under the Labour administration forcibly shut that down, cops down with machine guns and all sorts of fucking stuff, right? And it's only really fucking second-hand traders, even though there was an element of drug dealing in it, right? But basically, they let it go lawless, right? Because they wanted to shut it down. So the best way to do that is to unpolice it, rather than have one cop saying hello to people now and again. So this is the coffin if you spin round. So this coffin here is the coffin of Paddy from the market. And inside it, there happens to be some bones, right? Well, golf clubs, but they sound like bones, right? So see if you look at the side here, there's the date. It was only just the other week there, the 15th to the 5th, 2009. So Councillor Matheson and Councillor Purcell were the two casting votes, 7 against 5, right? And at a golf club, right? And he did get a hole in one. So those two fuckers shut the fucking People's Market down, Paddy's Market. Not fucking happy. So that's why that painting was painted, right? But we're back over the painting. It's really just a practice piece, but I've learned that it's very fucking difficult to paint figures, right? And get the scale and all that fucking right. But I will continually keep going. On this wall, this is the Menchie wall, where you get a mention. So I've started to write on the local gang, the Tongs, right? Tongs Bass. And I'm putting slowly but surely, these are different gang members from different decades. Pongo Alki and Eggman, right? James Alexander, Paul McVeigh and Eddie Calder. And here is Andy Rooster and Jimmocks. They're a bit later. So slowly but surely I'm going to add different gang members' names onto that. And then just keep messing about the wee figures till I get it right. You'll notice here they're faceless. This is me practicing skin tone, which another artist told me that you use red, yellow and white, right, to get different skin tones. So I'm practicing with the skin tone. And then up here, you're going to rent a space, So I have redone these a couple of times, and I put some local dignitaries' names on it, so that they might take a liking to it and buy the fucking thing. But because the sign writing wasn't too good, I've whitewashed them again, and I'm going to put different names on it. Not of the original tenants, but people who I think should go on it. So it's currently advertised for $295. 100,000.
I knew better. Farouche. Farouche. Wanna